Hey, everybody. I'm Amy Newman.
I'm Chris Carr.
And beep, 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 breaking news.
Doomsday cast.
Okay. For those of you just joining us, I know some things about Marvel. A few.
Yeah.
They're superheroes.
Nailed it.
End of list. Chris knows, I don't want to say everything because I know you'll be like, no. Yeah.
I know a lot of stuff, but I'm no like Marvel expert. I'm a big fan.
Okay.
Yeah. I sometimes know issue numbers.
She knows.
I know some things.
Everybody knows a lot compared to me.
It's not your area of expertise.
I've seen a fair number of the movies.
You sure have. And Eric is super into these too.
Yeah.
So I'm sure in your house he's like, oh, this thing is happening. And you're like, neat.
You got a text about this. And I was like, Chris?
I do have to say, this week, I did feel very smart because, so we're talking about Doomsday and the cast announcement and everything about that.
Yeah.
People thought that Daredevil this week was tied to, or last week, I think, whatever, was tied to Dr. Doom because they were talking about Latvian Heritage Day. And all these people were like, oh my gosh, Dr. Doom, yeah.
But he's not.
Dr. Doom's from a made-up place called Latveria.
I actually did know that.
Amazing.
I was like, he's not Latvian.
Yeah.
Latvia is real.
Exactly. A whole bunch of people thought that Latvia wasn't real. So I at least was like, I know enough geography to know what's real and what's not.
I may not know Marvel, but I do know Latvia exists.
That is a place with real people.
So
you're ahead of the curve.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take that. I'm going to be totally honest with you, Chris.
Please do.
We're getting another Avengers movie?
Yeah.
Now?
Uh-huh.
Well, next year?
A year or two, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're a little out. Are you confused because who are the Avengers?
I'm confused because I feel like they keep saying, like, we're going to slow it down. And then they don't.
Sure.
You know?
Well,
like Marvel as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Well, we used to get, like, 4 TV shows and 2 to 3 movies a year.
Mm-hmm.
So this is slower.
Fair. Okay.
But it does still seem like a lot.
I guess it just feels like, okay, we got to do a lot of ramping up in the next couple movies.
Absolutely.
And I do know we have Fantastic Four, and I'm sure they're, like, from what I have seen, they are going to be a part of this.
Yes.
Yes.
They were part of the cast announcement.
There's a lot of X-Men stuff going on.
Yeah.
What X-Men media are we getting in the interim to establish these characters, if any?
I don't think really any, because we're going back to Fox for this, because we're doing those guys.
It's less like you've seen these characters recently in the MCU and like, hey, remember your friends?
Pretty much.
They're back.
Yeah, honestly, that's pretty much what it is. At the end of the Marvels film, we did see Kelsey Grammer's Beast.
Okay.
But that has been the most recent X-Men of that universe. And our other X-Men ties so far have been in Ms. Marvel. There is a, hey, actually, your powers seem to be for some mutation. And then we hear the X-Men, which is so cool. But other than that, we really haven't dealt with mutants that much. Oh, and Namor. We've talked about how he is a mutant as well. The first mutant, theoretically, of what we've seen. The most old mutant. The most old? I know how to talk.
Some would say.
The oldest?
Somewhat.
Learned people.
I'm terribly sad they really fumbled the bag on what I was hoping for, which was, and Kelsey Grammer's back as Frasier.
Soft salads and scrambled eggs. It'd be great.
Yeah.
He'd kill it. Honestly, his version of Beast is just Frasier that's blue.
Right.
Which works beautifully.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're getting new Avengers.
Yes.
We're getting so we got sort of our Fantastic Four friends.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting our X-Men friends.
Some of our X-Men friends.
So
we'll have Patrick Stewart coming back as Charles Xavier. We'll have Ian McKellen coming back as Magneto.
Mm-hmm.
James Marsden as Cyclops, which is very exciting because he got, I feel, dealt a really poorly drawn version of Cyclops.
And these are all from those, like, 2000s.
Yeah.
I saw some of those.
Yeah. They were fun.
Yeah.
They're kind of what a lot of people think launched basically the superhero renaissance that we have nowadays.
Sure.
I always credit that to Blade because that came first. But most people came up with those X-Men movies.
Including, but not limited to, which one did we cover? Days of Future
Past.
Go check out that episode if you want more X-Men chat, covering that with our buddy Dimitri.
Yeah, it's a really good episode. Yeah. Dimitri really knows his X-Men.
Yeah.
It's really good. Well, and Days of Future Past is kind of where some people think a jumping off point could be for this movie as well. It's hard to say. We also have Rebecca Romijn coming back as Mystique as well. And then Alan Cummings is coming back as Nightcrawler, which is really cool.
I don't think I could have told you he was in these.
Really? Well, I mean, yeah, he's completely blue. He looks like a demon. He speaks with a German accent.
Sure.
Yellow contacts.
And much to my chagrin, Channing Tatum as Gambit.
Your favorite dialect work.
I love him as that character. So does my husband. And the day after we saw whatever that Deadpool and Wolverine, we were stuck in like 4 hours of traffic down to San Diego. And just every 30 seconds. Ooh, I'm about to make a name for myself here. And I was like, I can't. I will get out of the car and walk.
It's a good line read,
but we're all going to be doing it.
Oh, yeah.
And we're all going to be doing that voice.
Doing that lovely Cajun. It's amazing.
No, I do like him in that role. So I'm excited to get more of that.
Well, that was so fun for him, too, since he had been tied to the early X-Men projects and then nothing came from that for him. So it was a really nice redemption moment. And excited to see him in this more. I'm trying to think of some of the other characters we have here. I think that's it from our Fox friends who have been announced so far.
And then we're getting some of our old friends back?
Yes.
Okay.
So some of our MCU friends will be returning. And a lot of people think this is to just kind of tie up some of the little loose threads that have been kind of sprinkled out throughout there. But basically,
and yet I feel like every time we're like, that's probably the last we saw of... It's not.
No.
It's not.
No. Except for, I think, Harry Styles' character who randomly showed up in the Eternals.
What?
Oh, yeah. He's Thanos' half-brother.
Did that movie also feel like a movie?
I liked the Eternals.
I know that was my favorite thing Harry Styles has ever said.
Feels like a movie when he was talking about Don't Worry, Darling. Yeah.
I did see that.
Real strong thoughts coming out of Harry Styles. Real hard opinion.
I guess it did feel like a movie.
Sure.
Not a good one.
But it was, in fact, a movie.
I did sit in the dark for 2+ hours and watch a screen. So for that...
It's either a movie or a mental breakdown or some form of torture, which in this case could be all three.
No shade if you love Don't Worry, Darling. It was just, this is not what we're here to talk about. But real quick, my beef with Don't Worry, Darling is it was everything that was interesting about that movie was what you saw in the trailer. Like all the imagery that was kind of cool and a little creepy and sort of intriguing. And then have you ever been watching a movie or, consuming a piece of media and halfway through you're like, wow, what a bunch of fun mysteries we've uncovered. Wait, are we smart enough to actually tie these up with a bow? Yes. Or are we just there were a lot of questions asked and then they were like, and here's what it really is. And you're like, that raised more questions than it answered.
Yeah.
Anyways. We're not here to talk about that, but I still mad I wasted 2 hours at that movie.
Fair. Yeah, the drama surrounding it I found much more interesting than the film
far
itself.
More entertaining.
Florence Pugh was good.
And she's also going to be?
She's going to be in this.
Yep.
Segue. We brought it back. We were meant to talk about this. See, you did great. Boom.
I'm a
Florence
professional.
Pugh's back in there. We've got Sebastian Stan returning as Bucky Barnes. We have Chris Hemsworth as Thor. Anthony Mackie as Captain America. Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm. That's for our Fantastic Four. Letitia Wright as Shuri. Paul Rudd as Ant-Man. Hannah Jo Kamen as Ghost. Wyatt Russell as John Walker. Tenoch Mija as Namor. Tom Hiddleston as Loki. Simu Liu as Shang-Chi. And Lewis Pullman, who is Sentry, I believe, in the... upcoming Thunderbolts.
Oh, okay.
Danny Ramirez, who is the new Falcon. David Harbour.
Yes.
Red Guardian. Winston Duke, who is M'Baku. And then we have all of our X-Men in there as well. And then Robert Downey Jr.
Which I know we covered the Doctor Doom thing.
Yes.
Am I still confused?
Heck yeah.
Yeah. But if you want an explanation on what the hell all that's about, Chris broke that down very nicely.
Oh, thank you.
Chris... There's a lot of people in this movie.
There's so many. Too many?
That was going to be my question.
Yeah.
How... Because this feels on par with the level of characters we were getting in, what would that be, like Infinity War and Endgame?
Yeah.
But that also worked because we had...
It's like a decade?
Yeah, a decade of build, and it was an era of Marvel where it felt like everybody was relatively on the same page. I mean, I'm sure some people were just coming in and just seeing those movies, but it felt like more of the fandom was on the same page of like, yes, I have seen all 35 movies leading up to this. I know where everyone's at emotionally, so we don't need to spend a ton of time with these characters. Like, we can kind of speak in the shorthand of like, here they are, and you kind of know their story, and everything's just tying up plot-wise more than individually spending time with the characters. Mm-hmm. Do you think, as a Marvel fan, it's too many characters? Do you think it's going to feel too chaotic? Do you think, because there are very few characters we're pulling out of nowhere here.
Yeah.
If any.
Yeah, everyone's going to have been established by the time this film comes out.
So do you think, by the time we're sitting down to watch this one, we will feel it is earned to do something this massive already?
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the people who should be coming back, we haven't seen for a minute. And so it might be but wait, how do you fit into this again? What is this? This lineup, to me, honestly, does what you've had a problem with before of, I have homework before I watch this movie, of catching up so you know what all these other plot threads are. Mm-hmm. The really great thing about Marvel previously, leading up to Endgame and Infinity War, yes, you had to see a lot of these things, but for someone, if you weren't a diehard Marvel fan and you were kind of breezing in and out of stuff, you understood what was going on in that movie.
Yeah, even if I didn't know exactly, it would just be like, what's that shiny thing? The MacGuffin? Okay, moving forward.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. I can follow this.
Yeah.
I understand what everyone's journey is here. You know, Namor, we saw in one film, mm-hmm. Black Panther 2. Mm-hmm. We have not gone back to him since. Right? Shang-Chi, we only had that first film, which is a shame because Shang-Chi is a really fun movie. It's super, super great. We're supposedly getting a second one, but it keeps getting pushed back. What's the deal with him? What is happening here? We had a little end post credit that had, Wong and Ms. Marvel talking, or not Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel, talking about the rings, those bands and everything too, of the kind of power it emits. And those seem to tie into what Ms. Marvel has as well. Mm. So we have all these tiny little things that have been thrown out, but it's all been this kind of spaghetti at the wall until now that I feel like if you are a casual watcher, you might not know all of the different plot points that do need to be wrapped up.
It's hard. I have to assume this was the plan. I'm not saying it wasn't. It feels less like the plan. Again, I can't speak to what's going on in boardrooms and stuff, or like writers' rooms or any of this stuff. Realistically, probably boardrooms, which is part of the,
yeah.
Sometimes it feels more like the word synergies getting thrown around than actual creative. Again, this is here's what it feels like. I can't speak to, I'm sure there are brilliant writers putting a lot of heart and soul in who love these franchises trying to make this work. From the outside looking in, it feels less like we spent 10 years with a goal that we all knew we were aiming for, and more like, everybody really lost their shit over Channing Tatum in this movie. Throw him in, baby!
Yeah. Well, my understanding, too, is that we were supposed to be having Kang Dynasty in the place of Doomsday. And all of the Jonathan Majors kerfuffle shook all of that up, and we've pivoted.
Yeah.
Which there has been a lot of talk of, oh, no, it's always been the plan to bring Downey back as Doom. It's always been the plan to do this, that, or the other. And I do just have to kind of raise my eyebrows to that of, always. A pivot is great.
Yeah.
No one minds a pivot, especially when it is just, wow, you had to do that, and it lands, and it was so well earned.
Sure.
Cool. I would rather know that.
I could go see this and be like, they stick the landing. I was completely compelled. I loved it. Yeah. I do intend to see, Fantastic Four and some of this stuff, but I think it is also the thing for me where, again, I think getting into that creative versus sort of the business of it, it's like, I know people have been excited to see the X-Men in the MCU for a long time. So that is
You're so excited.
Disney they're taking me out. They poisoned my Celsius.
Oh no, Bob Iger just darted you.
Just a red dot.
We didn't have a
shot.
Oh boy, Amy.
Heard you were talking shit.
That is my favorite way to do a Mickey impression, by the way.
I don't think I've ever done an actual kind Mickey.
No, you can't. You have to have him just swearing constantly.
But it's great and it's exciting. And I know a lot of people who are diehard X-Men fans who are so excited and did love, that's also not me shitting on, like, people were so excited to see Gambit and see Channing Tatum in that role. And honestly, I didn't know who the fuck Gambit was. I'm like, that guy's fucking cool.
Oh, man.
Sure hope I don't have to hear that voice for 4 hours in a row. But sometimes it feels a little less now is the moment and a little more, all right, we got the rights, let's roll.
I can completely understand that. Especially with the success of Deadpool and Wolverine of, well, okay, that tested well, here we go. I can see that
in these 45 characters. And I don't know if that's an exaggeration.
It's quite a bit.
Feels like 20 something easily. Is there anyone that feels missing? Mayhaps tardy to the party?
Oh, yeah. I feel like we have several people here that we left some plot points open. Again, that is, well, are we going to see you in here? And let me just double check this real quick to see. So also, I want to point out that the reveal of these names took 1 hour and 21 minutes because they spaced it out for every 12 to 15 minutes. They revealed another name on a chair. Chair Watch. Avengers.
Chair Watch 2025.
Avengers is one of my favorites that I saw. I enjoyed that hashtag. But it was this weird reveal. And people were just watching this live stream. So the people who I feel are missing are some of our current characters, right?
An hour?
To reveal names. To pan to different names. And then,
That's so fucking
the payoff,
funny.
too. I want to show you the payoff of this, Amy.
That's absurdist comedy on a level I could not come up with in my wildest dreams. You know what?
This is the very end of the live stream here.
At least the Robert Downey Jr. reveal, they got him to walk in.
But also, we knew he'd be in it. It's called Doomsday, and he's playing Dr. Doom.
But I'm saying when they originally did that reveal.
Oh, sure.
He, physically entered a space.
But that's how they end this, too, with Downey. Being winking at the camera and walking off. And it was just like, you're the We know. It felt really weird to do, because if you are a diehard Marvel fan and you are just chomping at the bit for this information, it was so this meeting could have been an email? That's what this was. So I watched this live stream just to get a list of names and to see the big reveal at the end was the actor who I for sure knew would be in this movie shows up.
So it's hard not to feel like they're kind of trying to capture the magic of the last sort of big ta-da they had.
Yeah, and to their credit, people are still talking about this whole chair thing. Yeah. People were talking about it all day yesterday.
And to their credit, 100% more chairs. I gotta give them that. Endgame, not one name on a chair that I can think of. Please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong.
If there was media with chairs.
If there was a name on a chair, that
tell us.
I can't think of it. And honestly, that was one of my big notes.
Why aren't there more chairs
I've been
with
here
names?
For almost 3 hours, and
this?
not one name. Not one name on a chair.
Bizarre.
Who's in this? Credits? I don't know what those are. Put a name on a chair.
That's the only way I can read, is if it's been embroidered onto something.
Absolutely. Oh. The only words I know are "bless this mess." Otherwise, I'm functionally illiterate.
Or a live, laugh, love sign.
Sure, I can. That's it. Yeah, any needlework, I'm there. I'm clocked in.
But the people who I think we're missing are Captain Marvel, Ms. Marvel, Monica Rambeau, which are people who I think are going to be announced later. I don't know, though. It feels so weird because our tie-in for Kelsey Grammer, right, for that version of Beast, at least if this is what we're doing, I don't know why we would do it a different way, is at the end of the Marvels, Monica Rambeau ends up in a different Earth, right? Yep. More of that multiverse stuff. Okay. So we're 616. She ends up in a different universe.
Okay.
And a version of her mother is there.
Right.
And like her age. And then Hank McCoy, a.k.a. Beast, Kelsey Grammer, is there. Frasier is there. Right? He's going to just give her a great, easy psychoanalysis on the radio.
Frasier Crane. Yep.
Wonderful.
Oh, yeah. Where's Roz? They have not announced her.
They have not announced her, which is a shame. Love Roz. So that's our X-Men tie-in, is this connection here.
Okay.
So it leads us to believe then, kind of piggy pulling off of Deadpool, right? Oh, okay. In these other universes is where the X-Men stories that we saw from the early 2000s took place. So that's just a different universe.
Okay.
That may be colliding with ours, intersecting with ours in some way. And that means that Monica is our kind of linchpin there.
So she's gotta.
So she would need to show up. Unless it's just, oh yeah, some random superpowered woman showed up here. Anyway, I'm Beast. How
she's
you
right
doing?
over there. Oh, she's walking away.
Bye, Monica.
Bye, Monica.
Anywho.
I hope they cut to Bees like, goodbye, Monica. Anyway, she's lovely.
She's in a coma. Don't worry. Just one of those.
Oh, you're very busy? You're very busy and probably can't be around this week?
Darn.
Understood. Look, self-care first, Monica.
Yeah.
You enjoy that time with your mother.
Yeah.
Where was I?
Which is what they did to Natalie Portman's character for years of just, well, she's so busy. Oh, yes, yeah, Jane is off doing science.
That's who I want to be. She's just like got a thing.
She's somewhere.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're missing. If we're also talking about the Avengers, we still do have Hawkeye around, and he's not here.
The fans will riot.
He's getting another season of his show, supposedly, though.
Oh.
So there's that.
Okay.
So that's kind of the one that made me raise my eyebrows of, wait, but wouldn't she be our connection to going over there?
Mm-hmm.
And that ties into today, some plot points were released or leaked. This is also, it all could be absolute nonsense. It's one of those like, sources say this is the plot of Doomsday.
Okay.
So we're going to take this with not even a grain of salt, but like a nice margarita rim. All right. This is maybe true, maybe it's not.
Okay.
But basically, supposedly this movie is supposed to revolve around the, quote, final incursion, and this is coming to us from comicbookmovie.com, with Earth 616 and a divergent X-Men universe set to collide. So it sounds like the intention is to pick up where X-Men Days of Future Past left off, with Deadpool and Wolverine thrown into the mix for good measure. That movie's heroes from the Void will be back, as will Monica Rambeau. The Void was the place that they went to with all the different multiverse people in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yes.
So it turns out her presence in the alternate reality we visited at the end of the Marvels is what draws the two worlds together. Both Earth 616 and this X-Men universe, Earth something or other, will believe they're being invaded and that the only way to save their respective realities is to defeat and destroy the others. So an Avengers versus X-Men situation. It even is supposed to tie into the Captain America Brave New World post-credit scene where the leader planted the idea of otherworldly invaders in Sam Wilson's mind with his vague warning. There are a lot of other bits and bobs that have been kind of speculated with this. There's a whole Reddit thread and a Discord thread on how all of this is going to kind of come together, with like Doctor Strange and Clea, the Charlize Theron character who popped up for 5 seconds in a post-credit scene, hanging out with Doctor Doom.
Well, thank God, because I was worried this was going to get a little convoluted.
No, an obviously clear point. And it is worth bringing up, too, there is no direct correlation to like a Doomsday comic book to look to, like we've had with other things.
Okay.
So like Infinity War, you can go look at that. Secret Wars, you can go look at that. And obviously the comics and the movies are different and they've diverged in multitudes of ways.
But it's probably not going to be kind of loosely using some plot points from this run.
It feels like we're going to get more of a cornucopia of all these different things.
Again, it does feel a little more like IP soup suddenly.
Yeah.
I pop that P real hard.
I love Plosive. I love them. I think they're good. But yeah, it's going to be some Doctor Doom stuff, maybe a little Avengers versus X-Men comics, a couple other things thrown into the mix here. And again, trying to probably tie a whole bunch of these things together that we had left off. Like, how do we get Monica back? What's the deal with the bangles and rings? What are we doing with all these different multiverses, et cetera, et cetera. And in theory, this should be something that helps unify and end the multiverse saga. DC did something similar to this kind of thing of like Crisis on Infinite Earths, where eventually then we just kind of cherry picked who we wanted to be in the main DC canon.
Okay.
Feels like that's what we're doing here with the MCU as well.
Glad I don't have to write it. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, and this is the thing too, is it's so hard to write a good movie.
Yeah.
You know this. Like, it's really hard to write stuff. And even
when I'm so gifted.
You are. But even when you write a fucking killer script, someone can mess up the execution of it.
Yeah.
Like, it can get bogged down with, the big wigs and the bureaucratic nature of film. It can be bogged down by bad direction or bad acting or bad whatever.
I'm not joking. Hats off to the creatives who are making essentially an IP soup into probably something at least watchable.
Yeah.
That are creating something that, again, I'm not saying there's not artistic merit behind this, but that does also come from like, well, now we own X-Men and people have been asking for this and we got to tie this in and we can get this actor back, but not that actor. Like, to make that into something cohesive and coherent is an insane task to ask of anybody.
It really is. And this is one of the reasons why I like doing this podcast so much too, is as fans, particularly of the MCU right now, it's so easy to just go, well, why didn't they do it this way? If I was doing it, I would do it like this. I would make the movie like this. Sure. Yeah, I can write fan fiction too. But again, it comes down to the execution of stuff and how it is all handled. And I like to think we all, given the opportunity to be in the pilot seat, think we know what we're doing. We're all farts in the wind. We all would just still kind of like fap about and not know what we're doing. So
don't give it to me. I'd just make them all kiss.
Well, Avengers AO3. I would watch.
David Harbour is not that big a character in this. What happened here? Who's to say?
Oh, have you been enjoying this?
Self-insert. There's a character named Jamie. They all kiss her? I don't know.
It's so weird.
It's so weird.
So weird. Self-insert has so many meanings behind it. Oh my gosh. Wow. Have you been liking the Thunderbolts trailers though? I haven't gotten to talk to you about it. The David Harbour new movie.
Send me some of those and I'll watch them.
Okay.
And I'll let you know.
Yay.
I like the idea of that movie because I like anything where the word ragtag can be used. A ragtag bunch of whatevers.
Yeah.
And that feels like the vibe.
It is.
I really time my movie going 20 minutes. 20 minutes after the movie start time. That's when if I'm walking in and I'm hearing Nicole, I'm like, let's go, baby. But I should actually be on time sometime and catch some trailers because at this point I'm like, things come out and I'm like, huh? Oh, that sounds good.
What is this?
Who knew?
I have the opposite since I have to watch the trailer drops where I'm just like, oh, I don't give a shit about any of this right now.
It is fun to get to go in not knowing every beat and moment, though. I think that is part of it of like, I don't want to feel burnt out on movies that do look good.
I get so jealous of Logan, one, for his willing suspension of disbelief at everything. In life and movies. He's in a different plane and good for him.
He's having a great time.
But any new trailer, like when we sit down in a movie theater, he's like, whoa, hey, I didn't know about this. That's so amazing. And he watches trailers so rarely, unless he's in the movie theater, that when he does watch a movie, it's oh, this is happening? Oh my God, this person is in it? And I'm like, yeah, bud. They were in the trailers. He's like, I didn't know that. What a day to be me. What a blessed life. No burden of knowledge.
Feeling excitement about things.
Yeah. Instead of being dead inside and talking about them ad nauseum over and over and over.
Thanks for doing this podcast, buddy.
This is fun, honestly, because this just happened. This news just came out, so I don't mind doing this.
And I won't make you talk about it
ever again. I feel like you will urge me to never talk about it.
Chris, please.
Just please. I can't hear you explain the void one more time to me. That's how it'll go. But yeah, this all just seems like a very long cast list that still is incomplete. We still don't have a lot of details about what this is going to be. So right now it's just new friends and old friends come together.
Oh, self-insert into my void. Sorry, go on. We'll edit it so it looked like I said that joke faster.
I think the timing was perfect. You all liked it.
I've spent thousands of dollars on comedy classes. Worth every penny.
Yeah. What were some of the things Eric was getting texted about?
Oh, just literally the cast
it?
list.
Oh, okay.
Did we know this was coming?
I don't know. I didn't.
Okay. Then I'd say probably not, because you're more plugged in than the average bear.
That's true. Stealing picnic baskets.
That's you. I'm just saying, if you weren't like, yes, they're dropping this information soon, I would say this probably was at least somewhat a surprise.
A little bit, I think.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
They weren't like, chairs, they're coming.
If they had been too, I would have been like, all right.
Excuse me?
Go ahead. Everyone deserves a seat at the table. It's okay.
Yeah, I think it was more just, wow, look at all these names.
Yeah.
Sure are a lot. That's the good news. If you drop 30 names, you're going to find one of them where you're like, oh.
Pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is there anyone on this list that you're like, who is that? Who are these people?
Okay, at a glance, yeah, Hannah John came in as Ghost. Who is that?
Did you see Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Maybe.
So she's...
Yes.
She can kind of like phase in and out.
Look, if I saw it, I was not up on the MCU in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
It was I definitely saw one of the sequels. I think I saw that one. That's the second one. Yes, but I hadn't seen the first one, but it was 105 in LA. And I was like, I need to be in air conditioning that I'm not paying for.
Absolutely.
So I saw it, but not since it came out.
She is the antagonist in that film.
Okay.
And she is going to be in the Thunderbolts.
Okay.
So she's joining that.
So Thunderbolts is gonna be a big lead up one.
Yeah. Well, and this is interesting too of just, okay, so we have some of these Thunderbolts in here, a vast majority of them it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess everybody survives that movie.
Or ghosts.
Or they're ghosts or flashbacks.
Yeah.
Same with Fantastic Four of, all four of the Fantastic Four are here. Great. We didn't murder them in their first film. That would have been a bold choice.
I mean, when they announced Fantastic 3, I had my doubts. The sequel. Yeah, no, I mean, everything kind of makes sense. I've been up on it enough.
Okay.
I think it was more the general, we're getting a new shmush everyone together movie.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize how much X-Men were coming into play.
Yeah.
And I won't ask you to explain it again because I don't think the Doctor Doom thing is ever going to make full sense to my brain.
That's totally
until
fair.
I see it.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how they pull it all off. But yeah, same boat-ish right now of there's comic precedents and you guys can watch the whole episode. It just still does feel a little odd to me.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see. All my teasing is done with love. All my reservations are completely with a, I may be completely wrong and blown away and love the hell out of this. So...
But watching Chairs for an hour 20?
Chair watch. I guess let us know in the comments if you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening. I think at least Spotify you can leave comments.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let us know. What are you excited about? Who feels missing? What do you want to see? I'm bad at this. We're working on it.
What is this movie even going to be about?
Yeah.
Do you think they're sticking to a plan they had, or is this all them bobbing and weaving from the Kang Dynasty fallout? Let us know your theories. Let us know your thoughts. You're steering this ship. We're just cruise directors.
We shall see.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching or listening. We are on YouTube or on podcatchers if you're like driving right now.
Yeah.
Close YouTube and go to like Apple Music or whatever you do. Otherwise, you can always follow us on Instagram and TikTok. And, we have TikTok now.
Thank you. I got an email saying, like, you've been tagged in TikToks. And I was like, do I still have a TikTok account?
You technically do.
I technically do. And you can tell how old it is because I have long, straight red hair.
Yeah, I tag you in things like, man, I don't know if she's seeing this.
I have to watch TikToks on my PC.
Cute. Grandma, we love that. I'm
such a Nona.
But yeah, find us on all the things on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube at Two Filthy Casuals Pod. We're also on patreon.com/twofilthycasualspod if you want some bonus content. And
heck yeah.
Yeah,
Those are our things.
thumbs up, 5-star, leave a nice comment. subscribe, whatever the poison is, depending on where you're watching this.
Yes.
But thank you. We're gonna try to get more little baby drops.
Yeah.
Little droplets, little droppings.
Well, and the more of you...
little droppings in your feed.
Just bits of pop culture excrement coming at you.
You know?
As it forms. Yeah. If you are watching this...
Take it.
If you are watching this on YouTube, definitely thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. The more watches we get and everything, too, it's going to help open us up to doing things live with you guys. So tell your friends, have them watch this stuff. Engage with us in the comments. And that way we can do more things in the moment with you.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
Thank you for helping break all this down for me.
Of course. I hope it made some sense.
What would you do if, I went and watched all the chairs? Now, having read these articles and knowing everything, if I still chose, but I got 2 hours to kill.
And you weren't going to, watch the condensed, it moving down the row? You would do the full hour 20
And
reveal.
I gasp every time. But just because I'm like, that's a nice chair.
The stitch work there. Ooh.
I thought maybe it would be a different chair, but no, same chair, different name. Wow. God, someone really thought they ate with that.
I know.
God bless. Man. I love it. Until next time, I'm Amy Newman.
I'm Chris Carr.
And remember, if you followed this fandom, you'd be home by now.
And done watching those fucking chairs.
Put it on loop, lull me to sleep.
Oh my gosh, and each time the name got revealed, it was the same bit of the Avengers music. So it'd just be boom, 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 boom.
You know what? They did eat. I'll give it to them. They fucking...